welcome to Answering Questions Using the Scientific Method, a STEMC production. We're going to talk about how to answer any question you have, and not just science questions, using the scientific method. You can use the scientific method to answer any question you have about the world. It's not only limited to questions that can be answered by laboratory experiments. The first step is to ask a question. For example, we might ask, why do so many people contract the flu? The next step is to do your background research. You need to find out what we already know about this topic, and when I say we, I mean everyone in the world. When doing your background research, it's important to consider what sources you're looking at. There are sources that are more and less reliable. For example, peer-reviewed scientific journals and medical agencies are reliable sources. Satirical publications, personal blogs, and sources that anyone can edit like Wikipedia are not very reliable sources. But let's talk about sources like Wikipedia for a second. These sources do have their place. Let's say you are trying to find out more about a topic, but you don't even know where to start. You don't really even know what you're looking for. Wikipedia is a good source for that, as a starting place to jumpstart your search. Luckily, a lot of Wikipedia pages cite their sources, which are commonly those reliable sources that we're talking about. But you should not cite Wikipedia as your source because it is not peer-reviewed. Then there are sources that may be reliable, but are also associated with different biases. An example of these sources are news and media outlets. While you might get great information from these sources, you must acknowledge and think critically about what the biases may be. After you have done your background research, you can form a hypothesis. Hypotheses present what you think the answer to your question is. Your hypothesis will be informed by all the research you did and what the world already knows about the topic. For example, with our question about the prevalence of the flu, our hypothesis might be that so many people contract the flu each year because it can survive for a long time on surfaces like door handles and shopping carts. After you have your hypothesis, you need to test it to see if you're right. To test your hypothesis, you need to design an experiment. Experiments can look like many different things. Your experiment may be in a laboratory. Your experiment may be a survey of many people in a community. Your experiment might be observations about the world around you. There are many other examples of what constitutes an experiment. What is important is that an experiment is a process in which you take actions or make observations to determine if your hypothesis is correct or incorrect. The next step is to analyze results and draw conclusions. Depending on your question, hypothesis, and experiment, you may have many different types of data. Scientists use statistics, or the use of mathematics, to analyze numbers and other data to help draw meaningful conclusions from their results. Once you draw conclusions, you need to tell people. Communication of your results is how we grow the bank of information that we as a world know. Someone in the future might use your conclusion in their own background research. So, based on your conclusion, was your hypothesis correct? If it was, yay! Have a party! Then move on to your next question. There is much about this universe that we don't yet understand. If it was not, think critically about why. There might be factors that you haven't considered. Then have a party, because even if your hypothesis wasn't correct, you still learned something, which is really important to advance what we know. After your party, construct a new hypothesis based on what you learned and repeat the process until you find the answer. That concludes our chat on answering questions using the scientific method. Check out our other videos at www.stemc.org. Have feedback? Contact us. We are always looking for ways to improve our open access educational materials. Till next time.